Today I'm going to talk about why the LLC selling this dictionary is so detrimental to our tribal sovereignty and our communities and our families, and the dangers of state-based nonprofit corporations having control of our data and our language, our trade secrets, our songs, our stories, our cultural expressions, etc., etc. This is going to take multiple videos, but I'm going to ground this discussion in labels from localcontext.org. Local Context is a global initiative that supports indigenous communities with tools that attribute cultural authority or heritage and data. They've created traditional knowledge labels, notices, and TK licenses, traditional knowledge licenses. So using the LLC's third edition dictionary and this concept from Local Context, this is how I would label that dictionary. What do these labels mean? First label, the non-consent label. The consent associated with this data has not been verified by the community. Reasons for this could include that it has not been appropriately vetted, has mistakes, omissions, lack of informed consent, or its process of creation was through research which did not follow proper community protocols. This material was not created through informed consent or community protocols for research and engagement. Stay tuned, I'll show examples. This material has not been verified by the community, has not been appropriately vetted, has mistakes, omissions, derogatory language, lack of informed consent, dishonest research, which does not follow proper community protocols. Questions about its accuracy and how it represents community are being raised. The next label, it contains secret, sacred information that has its specific conditions of access and use. Requires special and respectful and careful treatment. That this material is traditionally and usually not publicly available because it contains important secret or sacred components. It is letting users know that because of a secret, sacred status, it is not and it was never free, public, or available for everyone at any time. Cultural sensitivities label must be treated with great care. There are cultural sensitivities around this material arising from legacies of colonialism. Label asks for care to be taken when this material is accessed, used, and circulated, especially when materials are first returned or reunited with communities of origin. Attribution label. Label is being used to correct historical mistakes or exclusions pertaining to this material. As a user, you are being asked to also apply the correct attribution in any future use of this word. And as such, because of all these labels, this should be non-commercial. You are asking users to be respectful and fair with your cultural materials and ask that it not be used to derive economic benefits or used in any way that makes it into a commodity for sale or purchase. Stay tuned for part 2. So why the attribution label? This is a recording of my Unchi Dolores. From this recording, they took her sentences and they put it into their dictionary that they're selling for $49.95 or whatever, without attributing it to her. She said this, but there's no Dolores Taken Alive said this at this time. She is from this community, etc., etc. More examples. What's also interesting is this is my family's oral history. When she is talking about that sometimes when her father, my great-grandfather, would go haul firewood, that she would go with him. But there's no attribution. And they're selling our family's oral history, making it into a product, a commodity, without our consent and our tribe's consent. Obviously, right? Resolution 150-22 of Standing Rock, they were banned. Pause to read. For the exact things of what they're still doing and are doing despite this resolution, while continually misleading our elders to believe that first language speakers grossly undercompensated and unattributed expertise will freely benefit our language learners, when in fact all LLC, TLC products are generated for sale to our own people and to a global commercial audience without any provision to protect or maintain sacred stories or knowledge as an inalienable, non-transferable, collective Ocheri birthright for our children and grandchildren. That's why they got banned, and they're still doing it. This was May 3rd, 2022. 14 members, 0 opposing. So why the secret, sacred label? There are prayers in here. There's a Sundance song in here. Our Opahi Aloan, our pipe filling song. Prayer songs, prayers. Why the cultural sensitivities label? They're selling the knowledge around our medicines and their uses. Tribes often protect these through trade secrets. They're also selling the place names within the exterior boundaries of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. Why do I mention that? We have a cultural resource code, ordinance number 189. And in that code, what's important is how we define cultural resources. It may include intangible resources that represent the Lakota Dakota language, oral history, and oral knowledge, like that of my family, as well as Lakota Dakota place names of landscapes, drainages, and waterways. So according to our ordinance, these should not be sold, nor obviously the rest of that stuff. Why the non-consent label? Why the non-community verified labels? They're obviously not verified by our community, nor do they have consent with resolutions like this. Another interesting thing. In an ordinance, you can't sell cultural resources. We also have a marketing clause. Here's the LLC marketing that dictionary. In Sacramento, I don't know how marketing that dictionary in Sacramento is going to help the Lakota Dakota people in our communities here. But anyway, it just further proves Resolution 150-22 here on Standing Rock of why they got banned in the first place. When in fact, all LLC TLC products are generated for sale to our own people and to a global commercial audience without any provision to protect or maintain sacred stories or knowledge as an inalienable, non-transferable, collectible Chedi birthright for our children and grandchildren. And that's why this should not be sold. It should be non-commercial and should have this label. But it's being sold for $49.95. So that this guy, who's a non-Oceti member, a non-tribal member of any Lakota Dakota tribe, and is their board chairman, could make or be compensated for this amount of money. And just to recap, this guy and this guy are banned from Standing Rock. And just remember, that's just Standing Rock. More tribes have their own resolutions and ordinances. Rosebud, Cheyenne River, Ordinance 57, Ordinance 66. Assistant Wapton, Chapter 73. Chapter 77,